Hey everybody, we're gonna do an opening to this video. Behind me you'll see the truck's loaded with some big rocks. We're gonna be going to a job site. I started a year ago. Woman had an issue with her foundation in the front was washing out. They also felt the sonotubes that hold up her porch. It was an open porch. Then the carpenter finished the inside and he thought the weight was pushing down. We'll come to find out the sand was just washing out from the foot. The slab itself broke and made him nervous. But then they wanted, the carpenter that was there working on the house wanted me to dig around and make sure there was sonotubes there. He was nervous that those steel posts were just sitting on that slab that cracked. Everything did relax down, but I dug around. We're gonna broke the concrete off last year. This year we're gonna be cutting it, redoing the slab. I already kept care of the erosion problem that was in the ground. What happened was rodents got underneath that slab and made a couple big cavities, and she had a rodent issue in that house because she's not up here a lot. They got rid of the infestation problem, but as I worked around that foundation, we found out underneath that slab had some cavities that were like, there was one spot that was probably almost a yard of dirt was missing. There was a big cavity. That's why it let everything relax. Pretty gross. But we kept care of that last year, started retaining the bank. All she wanted was something cheap, so all the boulders that don't work out good for me for rock walls, I just kind of planted them in the hill. Another problem we had there is the lot is just like beach sand. It doesn't ever sit still. It's like walking on quicksand. It really is. So I brought some gravel in, mixed it in, a lot of erosion stone mixed in, and put the boulders in place. And I'll do a quick walk around. But I've already been there working I worked there yesterday for about 4 or 5 hours, started the pathway. But we'll get there and I'll turn the camera back on. What we're going to end up with when we're done is a pathway right down to that road and right away to the lake right across the street. We've done these tiered off walls last year to get the foundation to stay together up there. And we're going to pour new concrete in a few weeks up there. But you'll see up behind the excavator that comes down, and we're going to try to do like a sweeping walkway down through here a little bit. I'm not 100% sure. I think we're going to just put timbers into the hillside. Anywhere she can walk, she just can walk, like even if it's stone. Like down here, I think this ramp's just going to be probably 1.5 or 3/4 inch stone. And up there, we're going to have to put some steps in. There's just too much of an incline there. I am taking some of the curse off. We brought this is 1 load of boulders, but there's a couple loads of gravel under that. I've already brought 9 more loads of gravel in, and we extended this wall on the outside down here. Like I said, nothing fancy. She just wants this, she's letting this all go back in natural after I'm done here. Whatever grows, grows. She just wants a walkway that she can get down through. I think they're gonna put a garage down in front of my truck to keep all the kayaks and stuff in it closer to the waterfront. So they want a friendly walkway to go up. But like I said, we are going to do some plantings here. I don't know if it's going to be this year or not. I think we're going to be putting some Christmas trees and different like evergreen stuff. It has to be all deer resistant because they do have a deer come through here quite a bit. And they will, when these places sit in the winter, they'll chew stuff right to the stump. So I'd do this opening video, show where we're at this point. Like I said, I'd already started on it. I already brought probably 9 loads in yesterday, and you know, you got to dump it here, which is a pain in the butt. You put it in 4-wheel drive, low range, come up the hill. You're in an angle, so the stuff doesn't want to dump off your truck good. Yesterday was pouring rain, so it was like dumping mud off the truck. That didn't help. Right now, we're probably 9, 10, 11 loads of rough just bank run gravel. And I believe this is 4 loads of rock into the job. And probably 3 hours with the excavator at this point. I'm going to shelf it a little bit as I come back down through this small flat area up there, and there's a pretty good one here. She wants to leave this open so she can put some raised gardens in it later on maybe. And we were going to do that here, but we decided a few weeks ago when I talked to her, I said I think we'll do 1 more tier and have the walkway come down, so get rid of the steepness. So the walkway will probably end up right where this last rock is. That way this one here can just be a walking path with no steps in it. But up there we gotta come up. I think I'm just gonna use a 6x6 beam buried into the hill. There'll probably be 9 to 12 steps in one area. We'll see what happens. And we're gonna try to make that trail system today where I can get up and down it with a BX. Kind of a difficult lot to dump fill on. because your truck's in an angle, and when you dump the body up, it's just miserable. So I dumped some down here. To keep this is kind of steep because we're keeping a pathway that's going to go to the front of the house too. To get to the other side of the house, we're going to be putting some concrete and stuff up there. I think I'm going to do an apron of concrete here. What I'm thinking now is I'm going to get rid of that one birch and that little clump of just pine trees. I'm going to push that out far enough so that I can have that go down. I can have that so it's a lot friendlier to walk on, and I'll just leave this one high. I may have to bring in a few more boulders, but I've been trying to not push. I didn't want to take any more privacy, but I don't think we're going to lose much there. We'll lose that one birch. That's probably too close to the house anyways. Next time we come, I think I'm going to pop those trees out, and then we'll bulldoze this around so that it's more of a sweeping hill. I'd like to keep this so that it's a walkway with no steps in it. We'll see what happens. I still may have to put some timbers in it, you know, just like a trail system step type thing, but I want this to be like a nature walk type thing. But we'll get back to it. I just figured I'd explain. I'm going to change this up a little bit. Next time we come, we'll work on it. I just want to show we got some material here. I cut down a few more of the birches, a couple little pines. And I'm going to show you, we've decided to widen this up here to make the pathway that goes to the front of the house one thing, and then this one that goes down through. If I came over a little further, it's going to be a lot less steep. So we got to start on that this morning. I didn't have my camera with me at first, so but like I said, this is just going to be a rough trail. She's going to let it grow back in and look natural when she's done. So we got through some of the material. I've sprayed this down a couple times today because it was real dusty. But this is what we ended up with. That's way more friendly than if I would have tried coming down off that, right off the side. You can come up and down this with the tractor with no issues, so that's cool. Side by side, or a golf cart will come right up this, no problem. And I'm not done yet. I'm going to put a good gravel when I'm all done. Tomorrow I'm going to bring some loom in. We're going to do a few plantings. I just want to show I'm going to do these little raised beds kind of on the corners and shape them. I'm shaping them with a gravel, and then we're going to plug plant and put loom in where the plants are. I was going to do the whole raised bed with loom. I don't like doing that anyways because of weed issues, but I think in this case, just in case there was ever a real heavy rain, I think I'm better off with having that gravel base. And it's that looks real good, but that's actually stuff off my screener. Like I said, I always do my base with, I always say that in every video. People might get sick of hearing it, but I make my base of the raised bed with gravel, and you have a lot less weed issues later on. But like I said, I'm going to plug plant a few bushes in these, or shrubs, little shrubs, probably ground coverage stuff. But I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do one more up there, then I'll probably stop planting. I just wanted to show where we're at and how I'm getting it up and down the hill. I'm actually grabbing everything up top, bringing it down a bucket at a time. End of the week, we'll probably start on doing some of the concrete stuff up top. But I want to get this trail system wrapped up today if I can and get everything watered. We're also it's unbelievable. Carroll County right now, I mean, it's extreme fire danger right now. It is so dry. I sprinkled calcium on this hill. I wet it down, sprinkled calcium, wet it down again. I want it to pack in good anyways, but I also want it to retain some moisture. I mean, I topped that with processed gravel, and it was just staying dusty. there's just no moisture at all. Crazy. Show you, we're making our way up the hill. I got those all done. Them are all done and watered. So now we just got to finish up this last thing and then move on from this area. Just going to show down here. I just threw some calcium on that, let it bind up a little bit. We're going to be ripping this out in the spring, I believe, to put a 2-car garage slab there. So we're not going to get too fussy from this point down. And then this point up, pretty much where it's going to be, roughed in trail like she wanted. I dolled it up a little bit with just putting a couple shrubs in. We are going to do a little more to the rock walls and stuff in the spring. Right now we're just getting it put together so it stays together for the winter. We got this hillside walkway. She up and down it today, seems to be fine without putting any type of staircase in. I believe it's going to be a golf cart or side-by-side trail when it's done, but I just thought I'd take a shot. I threw that little apron of rocks together there, just that will be a separate walkway. We were trying to do this so that it was going to be like one and not split it right there, but it is what it is. It's actually better this way anyways. Now I think I'm going to widen this corner a little bit Thursday, and we're going to go across. We got a saw cut this concrete. That's the next thing we're doing, and we pour that, and I got to bring some of that fill across. And I don't know how much we're going to be doing to this year. I'm going to try to give it the biggest bang for the buck I can. Last year we ended up right there, and the original job here is because it was starting to get undermined. There was a cavity there, 2 cavities there probably, that took a yard of gravel to fill, and the water was just funneling in there when we had heavy rains last year. So I've got to decide when I'm going to saw cut this, go from there. I think I might go all the way back to that crack. That way all the cracks will be gone. So I'll go to that furthest point out. I don't know if it shows in the camera, but there's a pretty good crack there. These sonotubes I think did. This one and the one on the end I think just sunk a little bit. And I think he adjusted it when he did the room over above us. Used to just be a unfinished porch. Now it's part of the house. So the original job I had here was digging this up to make sure these even had sonotubes. They were nervous that it was just set on this, you know, with a little footing, but I dug down, and I dug down 3 feet and it was all concrete. So I'm gonna guess they did the 4 foot. So like I said, we got the trail system in, and now we're gonna come up here and get going on this. We're gonna stop right there for this year. These trees up there are gonna be coming out in the spring first thing. The 2 top ones are starting to affect the leach field and where the tank is, so they're coming out, and then we're going to be digging this all out. So I just did this to retain what I had dug around. We're going to throw a few plants in it today, but I just thought I'd take a shot where we're at. And it's a little bit like a 6 or 8 point turn to get the loom in there with that, but I tell people all the time, everybody thinks they don't need a BX until they have one. We got that retaining wall done for this year. We are going to be doing more next year, but that retains what I dug out. This hillside under the deck used to fall right out into this walkway, so we dug it out, and I just wanted to retain that one section before winter hits. We do so much here every year, and then next year I think we'll probably finish up by the sounds. I watered everything today. Most of the stuff I put in, once you water it for 2 or 3 weeks, it's all set after that. This pathway here, when we're done, will probably be like a 3/8 pea stone. Probably put a little bit of calcium on this. I did that hillside, and that seemed to be staying bound up pretty good. And going up the hill, that same thing, I'm going to put some calcium to bind it up. It will keep pulling the moisture into it. But I just wanted to show today we got that garden done, and now what we got left. This is kind of spider webbed all through. I don't really want to replace the whole thing. This disc cracked off because there was a big cavity. So like I said, we're going to pick a point Thursday and saw cut it, and then I'm going to come out with the BX and just try to pick it out of here, and then we'll form it up. I think I'm going to pour this in 3 different sections. I think it will look nicer. So, but I just wanted to show where we're at this point. I got the material over here, so this stays backfilled for the winter. This erosion stone over there, so that ain't going anywhere. Next year, which will probably be the final project, we're going to do something with this, as far as making a better walkway to that path. I believe those pines are coming out, and this one big pine here is coming out first thing in the spring, probably before I get here, I'm guessing. But then we'll figure out a little more on the hillside to make it look a little bit nicer. I just want to show, we get this busted out. There was a crazy crack right there. I just decided to crack that out. I'm going to square that up, and then we don't want to pull this whole thing out. And there was mesh and rebar in a lot of this. There was mesh in all of it, and the good thing is it was starting to get rusty. So it was the saw that I used today cut all but maybe a ½ inch, so I just took a sledgehammer and bang it. But the thickness of this is all over the place, anywhere from 3 inches thick to the outside edges were probably 8 inches. And there was some spots in the middle where they were like 8 inches because they put a piece of rebar. But I saw cut it, and like I said, that edge there was a little crazy cracked anyway, so I'm gonna square that up first. Then I'm gonna pour this in 3 different sections. But nothing's moving. The sonotubes that this thing's standing on, nothing really moved. Overall, I'm happy where we ended up. It was way harder to break that apart than I thought it was going to be, but I picked up the edge with the little BX. Another thing, I keep saying it, but like, that's the only thing that's going to fit out here. I got my excavator out here a couple times, but it was an uncomfortable feeling. But that seems to do everything. I gotta go. I'm calling it a day. Everything's splattered with the muck from saw cutting this with a wet saw. But now the next day I come back, I'm just going to clean this up. We'll start forming it up. But I just thought I'd take a shot where we ended up with today. I'm back here this morning. I formed up that end, this end. I'm going to pour each end today, and then I'll come back and do the center tomorrow. But I just want to show people how I do it. Sometimes some people use mesh, I use rebar. That's only going to be about 3.5. I'm going to dig out a little bit here on the edges. I just kind of put that together and why I tied it together. But I just want to show people how I do it. I'm going to mix concrete, and then first couple bags I mix, I'll put a blob down, get that rebar so it's kind of in the center of that 3 or 4 inches of concrete that's going to be there. I'm probably going to dig the edges out so they're like 5 or 6 inches thick, and then the very center will probably be 3.5, 4 inches. We'll see. But like I said, it's going to be better than what was there. I don't believe it's going to crack. There's never going to be machinery or nothing on it. It's just a sitting area to put a table on underneath here when we're done. But I also got it so it pitches away so the water runs away from the house. And then that's going to be it on this. This will be the finishing thing on this job for this year. Then next year she's coming up, and it's going to be a lot more landscapes, cosmetic stuff. This was just an issue that was in the previous video, but I just thought I'd show where we're at. We're back down here. I got that first one done. Like I said, I just broom finished it. I broom finished the opposite way of the old one. I'm going to do both ends that way, and in the center I'm going to brush straight because I'm going to fix that bad edge. Right there, after I dug it out, I ended up putting I think that's 19 bags, and that's 5 feet by a little shy of 8 feet. So, and then I'm going to do the same thing on this end today when I get back from lunch, and then tomorrow I'll pour that last one, and that's going to be it here for the year. So I got to go home, grab some more concrete. I just want to show we got these done, but it did take a lot more concrete than I thought I was going to. But I did the rebar this morning. I got looking at it. I'm like, you know, I really should do the edges thicker, and so I propped that up, dug underneath it a little bit more, and like I said, I was thinking 15 bags was going to do this. It took 19.5. And the other end I thought would be a 19 and a half again. That end took 22. Tonight I'm going to grab probably, I had a bunch of loose bags at home. That's everything I had at my house, in my garage, in my lean-to. But it's a lot more work than I remember. I ain't done concrete for a while and I'm not missing it. But like I said, I broom finished these one direction, and on the ends I'm going to brush that middle just like the rest of the slab is, and try to blend that cracked area, you know, where that cracked out, in better is what I'm hoping. And then I'll probably come back next week once this dries for a little bit, and I'll go over it with Thompson's water seal. I roll it on basically. I bring a couple gallons, dump it out, and just roll it around. Try to do some on the edges, and I'll backfill everything, and that's all we're going to be doing here for this year, I think. So get pretty late in the season. It's a lot of concrete to mix in a wheelbarrow. I got a cement mixer. I just didn't think I could get it down here without it being a pain in the butt. So I just want to show we're wrapping up here. It's the last thing I had to do, and like I said, that came out. I'm happy with it. Next year we'll get back on this, but that's all we wanted to do for this year, is get that filled in where I had to cut the concrete out. I think I'm going to come back and saw cut those too, so that there's a straighter line. I kind of blended it into where that cracked concrete was, but other than that, it matches up good though. Everything pitches away from the house. I just thought I'd take a shot where we ended up. We'll probably call this one here. Like I said, this has been an ongoing project for a couple of years, maybe three summers actually. Next year she's moving up here, I believe, full time, so she wants to wrap things up, do a lot more cosmetic looking stuff. Right now we just had to get the foundation shored up, get the land shored up. That's done. The pathway's in. All we're doing to that pathway at this point is I might put some pea stone on it with like a binder in it. She's going to use it as a walking path. I think later on it'll probably end up having a golf cart come up through from the lake. But again, I'm going to call this video here. I hope you like my content. This video here was kind of all over the place, but I try to videotape everything I do. This is also a job that really wasn't on my schedule. Normally when she calls me, she's never in a rush. I can come here and work 3 days, not show up again for 2 weeks. She doesn't care. Long as things are wrapped up before fall, she's always been happy with me. And it's a good job to have as a fill-in. Some days I could do stuff here in the rain. I couldn't do on another job site, so it's nice having these type jobs that I can just use as a fill-in. Next year, I think it probably will be a scheduled job. Pretty much told me to plan on doing it in the spring. And like I said, this is a customer I've had for a lot of years, so I treat all my customers good, but like I said, I've done enough work for her. I'll make sure I fit her in no matter what happens. But again, if you like my content, please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.